Big good win here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, help promote and rank up my channel. So they're now complaining. Jurnee Smollett is, because everything's happening. You know, it's a great time to virtue signal, and it's time for everybody to virtue signal. And there's a lot of famous black people that are taking this opportunity because they're empowered to be racist at this point in time, because it's okay for black people to be openly racist towards whites at this point in time. So a lot of black people like Oprah getting empowered by it and encouraged to do it because they can do no wrong and they can be embraced for their racism. But this is a completely different issue. This is Birds of Prey Black Canary actress used her racist backlash to fuel her caricature. Okay, for one, they're trying to say people complaining about her being cast for the role of Black Canary is a racist complaint, that those people are racist. No, people want her to look as close to the iconic character that she can, and to accurately cast and depict the character for their iconic appearance is more important overall than where you're going to go with the story and all that, because you have to stay at least true to that and reflect that iconic character on screen if you're going to do an adaptation. Because we all know that for the sake of older fans and newer fans alike, the older fans, you've got to keep it surprising. You got to keep it fresh. You got to keep them guessing. You got to keep it entertaining. But you also want to respect the source material and all that, and that comes in the casting choice. So I'm one of those people that complain about the race change, because it's all about checking a box, and it's really not based on talent or any of that. And the same people that are saying that, oh, these people that are complaining about the race change are racist, well, they're the same people saying that white people can't play the voices, they can't play characters of color in animation. In animation, white voice actors cannot play characters of color when you don't even see them on screen at all, but they're not allowed to play people of color when it comes to animation, where you don't see them at all. Meanwhile, it is promoted, encouraged, and they revel in any white character being race changed. For almost every comic book movie, they want to race change a white character to a black person. They do this all the time. You complain about it, supposedly you're racist. Meanwhile, they can do whatever the hell they want. They can race change the character, and they relish throwing it in your face. And then they do this whole voice acting thing where they're racially segregating people to black people have to play the voices of black characters, and white people are not allowed to. And that's voice acting where you don't even see the character. But meanwhile, you got stuff like this. So supposedly she said she was aware of the racist backlash, and she used it to fuel her character. And this article tries to, you can really tell in her performance and all this and that. But honestly, everybody's performance in this movie was particularly underwhelming. I mean, you had a great actress like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this Birds of Prey movie, and that's somebody who can give you some outstanding performances. However, she is reduced to kind of this one-dimensional, just angry, tough girl with not much else to go on. And honestly, the movie would have been better if it ran with her comic book story as the main story for the film. It would have had more heart. It would have had more connection with the audience and all that. But this movie was just all kinds of messed up. Let's be real here. I mean, certain theaters and stuff had to change the title because it's so confusing. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. First of all, the title's garbage. It's very long-winded and garbage and confusing. And this movie, the Birds of Prey are barely relevant in it, while the whole movie is about Harley Quinn. And in the last minute, the Birds of Prey actually become a thing. Of course, the characters are in the film, but they don't become an official team until the last minute when everything's said and done, over with. This isn't a Birds of Prey movie, and it's not a good reflection of Birds of Prey, and The casting choices are ridiculous and silly. I mean, who they got for Montoya was just, it felt so out of place and wrong. And most of the casting choices weren't great. And then you had cast somebody as great as Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and you reduce her role to basically where it almost feels like she has nothing to work with. And of course, you got Margaret Robbie's performance. She is the main character of the movie, and she does give a good performance, but the movie's just all over the place, a sloppy mess, and it should have either been a Birds of Prey movie or a Harley Quinn movie. And the way they made the title, and essentially it is a Harley Quinn movie, and it should have been done without Birds of Prey, or they should have made their choices. Is this going to be a Birds of Prey movie, or is this going to be a Harley Quinn movie? But as far as racist backlash goes, the people complaining about the race change character are not racist, okay? I'm not a racist. I want to see this is the worst incarnation of Black Canary I've seen on screen. They try to act like, oh, this racism fueled her to give such a great performance and all that. But honestly, I've seen better Black Canary performances. I've seen them on a show like Arrow with a CW budget. Now, granted, Arrow had a couple of good seasons, but the acting is really iffy on there. I believe even fans, hardcore fans of the show, can say that the acting's not always on point and it's not the best. But their versions of Black Canary gave better performances. And when it comes to Smallville, their version of Black Canary gave better performance. The short-lived Birds of Prey series, their Black Canary gave a better performance. Okay, so you want to act like this is based on talent. You want to act like anybody that complains about the race change is racist. It's all complete nonsense. It's garbage. It's unfounded nonsense. And if you're going to make the argument that people complaining about this are racist, then we need to make the argument that people complaining that people of color have to voice characters of color are in fact racist. That is racial segregation. Right there. So if that's the way you want to do it, then you know, you gotta stop your hypocrisy, okay? Stop it, because this is somebody you actually see on screen. You'll see them. You'll see that it causes a cognitive dissonance because they're not a representation, a good representation of the character that you're familiar with, that is iconic. And this stuff is just in name only, while trying to cash in on that and shame anybody for complaining about it. And of course, they've got to virtue signal hard because their movie failed. Their movie was not great. It was heavily stylized and all that, and just kind of sloppy and all over the place. It takes you out of it many times. Not very well written, not very well casted, not very well directed. With that said, though, let me know your thoughts and opinions, because I know a lot of people out there are going to be like, oh, complaining about this, it's just racist. They cast her based off talent. What talent? I mean, why her? Anybody, tons of, I can't say anybody, but definitely a vast majority of people could easily pull off this performance. I'd probably even give a better one than what was given here, because I don't know if it's the fault of the actress herself or the director just being so poor at her job that she didn't come through that much, or maybe it's the script. The script just didn't give the character much to work with. But she was like, oh, it brought a rage out inside of me, which was great for Canary. Trying to act like, oh, this racist stuff made her give such a great performance. This stuff isn't even racist, and you don't even understand the context. Clearly, you know, some people know the context, that you just don't want a race change character because it makes no sense. It's stupid, ridiculous, and they always have a bag full of excuses ready to defend a race change character that's completely unnecessary. When we all know movies, when they make these choices, they do it to check a box or intentionally give fans the finger. That's typically what they do. Uh, and usually, 9 times out of 10, it's just to check a box, to virtue signal, to check, do that affirmative action style stuff that they like to do so much. Meanwhile, it's just stupid. I am so sick of race change characters. It's ridiculous. And I would be complaining about it either way. If you cast a white person for Vixen, I would complain about it. Anyways, Fake Goodwin here. Eventually we will stay awesome. Rock on.